God's domain. Let me talk about this for a second, okay? As somebody who believes in the Most High, Yahuwah, or Yah in short, He creates the Word, right? It's His domain. It's His creation. He's a creative being, and He makes people to be creative also. So in His domain, part of the creativity is the arts, music, dance. As a black person, I definitely enjoy music very thoroughly. I enjoy dance extensively. God's domain, Yah's domain. So what's occurring is that individuals, as they are born, they are infused with His giftings. Okay? They're infused with His giftings. Now, unfortunately, the burden of life. Okay, let's say from the time as you can remember, you got an amazing voice. You got an amazing voice, and you find yourself doing a job that is contrary to your gifting. And then somebody offers you a deal. Hey, I know you can sing. You sing in church, and you sing so damn well. How about you come and use the gifting that you got and just sing some bad words and here and there because it's a thing to do. Now, of course, they're not going to present like sing some bad words, but we know that most songs, most vocals are backing the wrong lyrics. The content of most songs is trash. Trash is a loud word. Some of it is actually wicked and evil. You got devilish songs. You got things about, I'm going to do this to you like that. We're constantly being fed sexual content. We're constantly being told about, like in terms of rap, murder, killings, and everything else. So these individuals in God's domain, Yah's domain, are blessed with skills to flow, to sing, to dance. But they don't resist the temptation to be progressive enough to work diligently and earn things slowly. They want fast success. They want vast success. So that their name is, from Japan to Africa, from Africa to, they're known everywhere. And because they want that in Yah's domain, they get to trade their skill set for bad content. That's why you see when Chris Brown come out, he has to sing something sexual. I love Chris Brown. I always like Chris Brown. He got good vocals. He could dance. And he in his 40s, he still dance good. No lie. You look at Glorilla, she can flow. That girl, she can flow for sure. But the imagery and the content is always straight up bad and wicked. Bad. We're always pushed to constantly be thinking about sex. Like if I go back even to Barry White, we push into the sex zone. I don't think it's necessary for men to be constantly reminded in songs about sex. But that's the thing, Yah's domain. These individuals, they look at their talent and say, "Hey, why am I working this job flipping burgers? Why am I working this job?" I'll use an African example. Why am I grabbing, loading charcoal, burning charcoal, or making mud bricks? Why am I over here pushing trolleys when I got such amazing vocals? So that trade in their soul to use their skill set for the bad. So now we as individuals in Yah's domain, we start to serve the powers that aid those individuals to be successful. And I will bet money that there's not one single individual. Maybe the ones that tried it out, didn't like it, dropped out. But if you have a continuous success in these spaces, you definitely have to trade something in. So when we hear about, the Diddy thing, and Will Smith that, Beyonce this, are we ever shocked? Because in Yah's domain, individuals are born with a certain creativity. But it's a choice to apply that creativity to a holy cause. And we know that bad things sell. Bad things sell. Sex sells. Talk about drug sales. Guys, even in Africa, you go to any African country, there's a representation of a bad guy, whether it's bad man or whether, whatever terms they want to use, Yahoo boy, thug. There's always that character that represents a bad guy, and he's the loved guy. So now it forces society to focus on those guys. That's the ones young boys want to aspire to. And it's always a bad girl, like a Nicki Minaj version. There's a Zambian version, there's a Ugandan version, there's a Nigerian version, the Tio Savages, and I don't know who's in Uganda was popping, but they Tylers, they're not exactly good role models as far as women goes. They were Lil Wayne and all those individuals, the Diddy's, the Rick Rosses, they're not exactly good individuals, but that's the containment. They got the creativity. Some of them don't even got to be creative. But in Yah's domain, they are gifted with a gifting, and they trade it in because let's say they felt like they got dealt a bad hand, or let's just say it's greed that drives them. Because you and I we have to do the hard yards of the 9 to 5 and enjoy moderate success. What's moderate success? You got a roof over your head, you're eating good, you get to travel every now and then. That's moderate success. But there's individuals that want lights, want their letters in the lights. I'm using a neon concept. We got lights in like everywhere you got a concert, everybody knows your name. In Yah's domain, individuals are blessed with the giftings, but oftentimes, for the majority of them, they have to be larger than life, and they trade in, and then we're sold to that. And of course, they have to be presented as good. Look at Britney Spears back then. You look at Hannah Montana back then. Miley Cyrus. Look at, all these individuals, they always flip. Look at Katy Perry. Look at Beyonce when they came out with the little Destiny Child situation. Look at Rihanna. Look at the list go on, even children's shows. People are blessed with skill sets because in Yah's domain, he blesses everybody with something, with a gift. But the problem is they sell themselves out, and then we get led because we like their gifting, but then we don't peep the game and assess the content. We know better. Like, we know when you listen to Sexy Red, you know there's something wrong. Glorilla, because the flow is nice and the timing is right and the beat is tight. Biggie Smalls, we'll talk about some gay stuff. So was Tupac. But because we like him too much. Elton John, Beyonce. I'm like, you got so much money, why didn't you wear what you wear on stage? Like, they're gifted, but they trade their gift to do other work. And we don't want to recognize that. Because let's just say that there's a giver of the reward. Kind of like a parent. You say, if you sing for me a nice song, I'm going to give you $100. Except in the case of these individuals, they're born into this world, they have a gifting. When you get a gifting, whether you can run, you have that burden to do that thing. Whether it's boxing, that's why Mike Tyson did an amazing job, right? That was his gifting as a fighter. But then they want to be larger than life. They're being presented with this thing which is bigger than just a local guy. And they subscribe to that. You don't know what they did to get what they got. I'm not saying every individual signs up to this, but I would say that the majority do. And then when we follow them, we're led to this dark place. We don't know. So it is just a little bit of a problem, but I believe that most people in Hollywood, in Yah's domain, people are gifted and they're blessed, whether it's singing, dancing, and everything else. But unfortunately, these people, they want to be great, they want to be larger than life. The Nicki Minaj and the Chris Browns and even the social media influencers, and will get to be led astray. It's only a few people that have discernment that will not participate. It's very few because as far as I'm concerned, Hollywood musicians, it doesn't matter whether it's African artists, Burna Boy, WizKid, I believe it's the same crew, same group. Yeah. Do righteous, good, holistic people exist? Yes, they do. but I don't think they get clout like that. I think you have to be doing something in close proximity with wickedness, because there's no reason why all the songs, most hits, are trash in terms of lyrical content. Dress code. Look at every African singers. They got like chains, and they're participating in that kind of hip hop culture. Girls be trashy, dress code, and then women are very impressionable. Young girls, they copy that. So it's evident that that's not representative of righteousness or goodness, or it's not. I don't. We know that as men, we're like, oh, cover up. Girls like, my body, my choice, and the music represents that. And you have this artist clearly don't live that life, because Beyonce be like, yeah, what's that name? That chick who say, I don't cook, I don't clean, but she clearly do, and she was married. But that tells you that her gifting, her flow, is designed to move you to a place which she subscribes to, that gives her the power to do what she needs to do. Because a lot of people, there's a lot of talented people. I've learned there's a lot of people that can sing and dance and everything else, but sometimes to get past, to get your gift recognized, you have to do some shady things. You hear girls say, I have to strip. Eve, remember Eve the rapper? She was a stripper. You know? So I believe that there's good gifted people that popped up in this world in y'all's domain. They get to be lured because I have this gift and I'm working this basic job. I'm impatient, I want to be successful, and I already have an example, already somebody doing trashy things, and I could do better than that, and they subscribe to that. And now we're attracted to the talent, like Chris Brown, even Michael Jackson. We're attracted to the talent. We follow them, and not peeping the game of the lyrics that they're leading us to, and the guy who they serve.